These are the key habits that will take you to success automation. My name is Joseph Darling. This is the Men of High Value channel. I want to help you to get to where you want to get to as fast as possible. Let's use mentoring and let's get right into it. So, what is the issue at hand here? Well, we want our financial freedom and we want to have as an amazing lifestyle as possible. Great. There are 3 key habits that you need to keep in mind. Number 1, okay? And you need to understand this as soon as possible. And I'm going to delve really deeply into this right now so that you really get it inside your head. Really get it inside your head. I'm repeating myself because so few people actually understand this. All rich people do it. Very few other people do it. All rich people, all, okay? When I say all, I mean all rich people do it. Very few other people do it. It is the concept of pay yourself first. Not after your bills, not after rent, not after anything else. Pay yourself first. What does this mean? It is making sure, first of all, that you actually have an income. Hello, right? Have an income, for crying out loud. 1, 2, 3 jobs would be fantastic because that'll give you 3 income streams. You want to get used to having multiple income streams, right? So when one dries out, hey, there you go. You still got another one and another one and another one eventually. But let's understand what happens when you get that paycheck. Do you know when the date is that you get your paycheck? I hope you do. Is it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? That date is a very special date. That date, you need to have a date with your future. Your future self will thank you for that specific date and what you did on that date every single paycheck. And what is it that you do? You take a percentage. The higher the percentage, the better, of whatever you can afford, right? So without drastically cutting your lifestyle. But some of you might need to drastically cut down your lifestyle, okay? Take a percentage. Minimum should be 10% because you can eat a lot less, right? And then set it aside for income-producing assets. Set it aside for income-producing assets. Again, I'm repeating myself continuously because so few people get it inside their head. You might be one of the lucky ones that haven't clicked off this video just yet, all right? You need an income. With that income, you need to have a percentage that you set aside for income-producing assets. And when should you do that? On the day of your paycheck before you pay rent. Before you pay for food, before you buy anything, you should be setting aside a percentage to income producing assets. And you should never, ever take money from there ever again for consumption. There's really only 2 categories. Income producing assets, in other words, the future, or consumption, which is the now. Which one would you rather have a fantastic time? The future or the now? Whichever you choose is going to give you a either good or a bad future. If you continuously and constantly prioritize the now over the future, you're going to exponentially have a problem. You don't want that. So you need to learn to pay yourself first today so that you can have a better tomorrow continuously and continuously improve and make that tomorrow even better and better, right? Women are there to enjoy the now. Men are there to make the now better. And that means understanding your future. Now, you might be thinking, well, what if I have a past? What if I have debts? Well, you know what? It kind of depends on your financial education when it comes to this. But if you have credit cards, and we'll just use that as the one example for this, that's part of your past consumption, where you consumed way more than what you actually made in income. What do? Well, guess what? That's going to be a brighter future if you manage to pay off those credit cards, right? So credit cards very often are like 15, 20, 25% in interest rates, right? Man, there's very few investments out there that you can invest in, okay, except for yourself and your own business, etc. But there's very few investments that you can invest in that gives you a higher return on investment than credit cards, okay? So put aside, so that becomes an income producing asset. Do you get what I'm saying? This is a key habit for success automation. Why? Because the moment you have this as a habit, what happens? You're never broke ever again. Like, it's literally impossible for you to become broke ever again unless you're completely risky with your income producing assets. If all of the income producing assets that you were supposed to buy and you bought them and they lose you money continuously and constantly until you're broke again, they weren't income producing assets, were they? Right? So you need to be wise in terms of what you invest in, right? And maybe fiat currency is not the best alternative, right? Of money. So you can't just have it in the bank because the bank is going to loan it out to someone else. So you won't have that money anymore once the bank goes broke, which they will during the hyperinflation type of phase, right? So you need to, in my opinion, gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Those are the ones that you should stick to if you think that that's what's going to happen to the US dollar. Because then you're good. You're safe. That's always going to keep its value. It's not going to go down, that's for sure. So, or at least in my opinion, right? So what's next? If you do that, your net worth is going to continuously exponentially grow over time. You'll never be broke ever again. That sounds like success automation to me. Right. Number 2, the second key habit that lead to success automation. Well, you need to first know your niche. What do I mean by niche? You need to know which business model you're going to attack, which business model you're going to use towards your financial freedom. Or once you've gotten your financial freedom, that could be any business of your choice that you want to create. But you need to know which business niche you're in and have one of them. There's so many people out there, and I need to make another video completely about this, of guys who have 3 or 4 or 5 different businesses that they're trying to build up. Trust me, you're not going to build any of those up. And if you try, they're all going to fail anyway, because you always need more time and effort and money into a project than you think. You need to pick one business model that will give you financial freedom. And after you get financial freedom and tons of money, then you can diversify. Until you're making 10, 20, 30K a month, you should not ever diversify. One business and one alone until you make it. Now that you know your business model and niche, the second habit that will lead to success automation is the personal habit of that niche. So every single niche, trust me, every single niche has one extremely uncomfortable thing that needs to get done every single day, and no one in that niche does it continuously every single day, right? And spends a lot of time on it, because if they did, they'd have a massive business. Every single person in that niche, maybe you know what that personal habit is, and if you don't know, you need to figure it out ASAP. What's the one habit that if you did this in your business every single day and you continuously increase the intensity of that habit, right? Because if you start with 1 hour of doing that habit, maybe over time you need to step it to 2, to 3, to 4, and eventually you might want to get it up to 5 or 8 hours of just that one habit in the business. For YouTube, it might be working on scripting, long form, right? Because you haven't found a script writer that you could replace you yet. As a coach, the only thing that I have is DMs. Is entering your DMs and say, hey, yo, what's up, man? I want to work with you. I want to help you. I want to solve your problems. And then give them tons of free value up front. Use me. Okay? And then over time, they'll see the value that I can provide to their lives and the 10x situations, 100x situations I can give them. And then eventually they'll sign up. But that's part of my business. Do I like rejection? Do I like people saying, hey, I don't want to talk to you, or leaving me unseen? You know that happens like 50 to 70 to 80% of the time. It's not new to me, right? But it's still strange that people wouldn't keep up a conversation. I always keep up a conversation. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm just different. I'm just like, if someone writes me, bro, I always reply. Even like, okay, unless it's like, very noticeable that they've copy pasted the hell out of that thing, and they, you get what I'm saying. I don't copy paste a lot, right? So just so you understand that, that's the second habit that will lead to success automation. Every single business has a habit that people refuse to do, but if they did, it would make them rich in that specific niche. Which one is it for you? And if you have any thoughts about it, you can comment down below in the comment section about specific business niches and those one personal habits in that specific niche. Number 3, since that personal habit, number 2, right, is extremely difficult to do, it's very uncomfortable, and you really don't want to do it, getting on those phone calls, doing those DMs, doing the scripting for a long period of time every single day if you have a YouTube channel, whatever it is, okay? It's a very uncomfortable thing, which means that you need a lot of discipline in order for you to consistently do it day in, day out, continuously for a long period of time. So how do you go about doing that? Well, you have to do it first thing in the morning. You need to do it when your discipline is at its all-time high of that day. It's called Eat That Frog. It's a book. I don't necessarily recommend you read it. Just understand the concept of eat the frog. Let's go immediately. First thing in the morning, you do it. You get it done. Why? Because then you've got the rest of the day. I've reached out to 100 people today. I finished by like 12:30 or something, 1 o'clock. I literally have the rest of the day to do other business activities that need to get done, or to simply relax with my family, right? Because I woke up at 3:30. I need to mention that as well, right? But I get it done because then I've got my life. I can actually live now. I don't have to be stuck in my business for the rest of the day, which happens sometimes, I have to admit it. But in general, that's the problem. If you want to eat that frog early on in the day in order for you to have discipline for other things later on, because if you don't, you probably won't do that uncomfortable thing throughout the rest of the day, or you'll do a little bit of minimal effort on it and won't really add up too much over time. Habit number 3 is having an evening and morning routine that you stick to that has the exact same bedtime and exact same awake time every single day. I'm putting emphasis here so that you understand every single day. I'm waking up at 3:30 right now, okay? And it happens 75 to 80% of the time. And now I just have to improve at not, falling asleep on the couch. I get out of my bed, but sometimes I fall asleep on my couch. This is what happened today a little bit, right? But continuously you're improving, you're getting better, and you understand that, man, I ain't got time to fall asleep on the couch. If I wake up at 3:30, I might as well get up and actually do something, right? I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? So you got to actually understand that the more consistent you are with these 3 things that I've just mentioned, you're not going to be perfect, but the more consistent you are with them, the more success will be automized for you. Automatize, whatever the word is, all right? Success automation. We want to make sure that we do these 3 things because this will allow you to actually pay yourself first in every single category of life when it comes to time, money, and energy, or your health. So when it comes to money, increasing your net worth exponentially, right? That's pay yourself first, putting aside a percentage of money that goes to income producing assets. I recommend gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum at this point in time in history, simply because of the circumstances of the world and us being very close to hyperinflation of tons of different currencies, or banks completely running out of money and basically taking your money with it, right? You need money outside of the system, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, and silver, that's it, all right? When it comes to time, pay yourself first when it comes to your time. That means you actually do the personal habit first thing in the morning. You've paid yourself first now, first of the day. Before anything else happened, you got the thing done that needed to happen. And I recommend that you do that before your job. Get the work done before your job, so you need to wake up earlier, which means you actually have to go to bed earlier. This is the key, folks. An evening and morning routine that stays constant continuously. Because if you do these 3 things, well, by the way, the third one, that's going to give you energy because you're going to make sure that you have 8 hours every single day of sleep. And if you just do that, you're going to be able to keep up the 80-hour work week. You're going to be able to keep up all of these habits, and you will be amazed how your life will be transformed over time. If you actually apply accountability to all of this, okay, that's probably the biggest key habit that most people don't do. If you actually have a coach or a community where you can report on those 3 things every single day, oh my gosh, everything's going to exponentially grow for you fast, because that's where it happens. If you don't have accountability, you're going to slack off. You're not going to put in as much effort as you know you should. And the reason why is because no one cares, basically. But if you have a mentor, he cares about your success, because if he doesn't, at some point you're going to leave that coach, right? He is financially incentivized to make sure that you get success, because then you'll actually keep paying him in order to get more success, right? So that's how it works. You need it. Everyone needs a coach. But first of all, if you can't afford it, just do those 3 habits and then jump on a free trial waiting list that I've got going right now. I believe the link should be in the description. If it's not, it's going to be on my Instagram. DM me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.